What's up, everybody? You have to avoid foolish real estate decisions and the race to the bottom. So if you want to know more about that and what smart buyers and sellers are doing, this video is just for you. Check it out on the other side. Hey everybody, I need to talk to you about a few things. This is very important. I feel like what I'm seeing out there is a lot of potentially very foolish decisions. Some of it is not potentially, they're foolish decisions right out the gate. If you are a seller in this market, you need to know this. If you are a buyer, you also need to know this. I have been doing mostly these updates because I feel like that's what people need to know right now. They need the information to know what is best to do in this market. So here's another Here's How with Coach Hau. And what I've got up for you first is that thing I started with, which is avoid the race to the bottom. I believe that as this market gets a little bit more desperate, as the sellers that do need to sell realize what they need to do, there's going to be a race to the bottom. Whether it's in your neighborhood or overall in the market, there's going to be people saying, I'll just go ahead and undercut that lowest price and sell my property first. And then the other seller's gonna go, look, oh, they just lowered their price. Now we need to lower ours. And they're gonna race to the bottom until they get their home sold. That's what I'm seeing happening. This is important. You gotta beat this out. You gotta beat this wave out. And just a message to buyers right now, this is obviously, you're thinking to yourself, well, I'll just wait and I'll wait till the prices get lower and then I'll dive in and get my property. Well, if you're a buyer, you should be thinking about your interest rate. And right now, for probably about a very short period of time, is about as low as these rates are gonna go probably for the rest of the year. So if you wanna wait, that's fine. You're taking a chance to see what happens in the future. But if you need to buy and you want to stay away from the rental market, you need to buy ASAP. That's something I would think about. You can still get a great deal. You can get a seller to go ahead and pay down your rate right now. I think as the year goes on, yes, prices will go down, but your interest rate's going to end up being higher. So look at what that means. That might be a foolish move for you to wait. And if you're thinking of waiting maybe over a year, fine. That might not be a foolish move at all. I would not sit here and tell people that you should absolutely be buying right now. You got to look at your own situation. But if you're a seller, you got to avoid some really foolish things right now. Check what's happening in your neighborhood with the properties that are like yours, the comparable sales. The agent you're working with should be able to tell you this without any issue and tell you these properties have been sitting on the market and not selling at X amount of dollars. So if you go in and you say, well, I'll just price my property right near this one that's not selling, well, that's foolish. I mean, if you got to get it done, you should get it done and get it done by making your property a deal. Really. People don't want to hear that right now, but look at the evidence out there. It's not working out. There aren't a lot of miracles in the market. And I really, really dislike being negative. I have to be very negative, I feel like, in several of my last videos. But I'm here to help. If I'm not real with you, if I'm not giving you the best information possible, then I don't think I have a lot of value to you. So right now, what my message has to be is a little on the negative side. But I have some positives for sellers, and you got to get a little creative right now. How about a little creativity? Some things that maybe aren't being talked about. And as sellers, you may not even realize that you have these options. For example, an owner carry or a seller finance. This might be something that you should be offering if you can do it. Certain situations, you might not be able to do that. You need to be able to sell the property, move on, cash out the equity. But in certain situations, especially investors, maybe they want to think about seller financing. If they can hold the property and finance it and make that monthly income every month. If you want to know in detail about how you can work one of these deals, contact me, of course, anytime, 702-461-7175. I don't care how you get a hold of me. Call me, text me, throw a rock through my window with a note tied around it. Just do it when you're ready. Because here's the deal. You just need to know what's the monthly number that you need, and then you amortize that over a number of years, the term that you're doing. So whether you could do, obviously most loans are structured around a 30-year, but maybe you can do a shorter one. Maybe the buyer can do that. The down payment, the interest charge can be negotiated. One way that this might be very good for a buyer is if the interest charge for them is lower than what they can get out in the market. And now you as the seller, you're making that interest. It's not a bad deal. Why not you be the bank? So there's no way to structure this wrong except for some illegal ways. As long as it's legal, you can structure one of these contracts. Now, some people are going to be shy to do this, but for the right seller, I think this is something that you can offer. I also want to let people know about something that could be very good for family type situations. Maybe you want to sell to a friend or a family member, to exchange that property. Well, if you have an FHA or a VA, this could be possible, an assumable loan. If you can have somebody assume that loan at that low rate, you want to, move out of state. Everybody's got a reason to move when they need to move, right? So if you need to get out and you want to be able to make this happen, maybe you have this situation brewing, you can do an assumable loan. There's a number of things that you need to know about doing that. They're not necessarily the easiest thing on the planet, but it is possible. So you as a seller, you should know about those two things and maybe continue to get creative. What the builders have done when they did, especially last year in 2022, they saw this coming and they had a plan in place. So they got creative with what they could offer as far as loan interest rates and being able to offer that and packaging upgrades into the property and lowering their prices and getting rid of a lot of the stuff that you'd have to pay through the nose before on a brand new home. The builders were smart to do that, and they got rid of a lot of the inventory that would have been a real problem to have hangover, especially into 2023. Now, it doesn't mean they're totally out of the woods. It just means they got smart and they did something creatively. And you as a seller should be thinking that too. Because I just look down the road and I don't think things are going to get much better for sellers. I think you're losing money every day. If you don't like that, well, then don't sell. And I hope you don't have to sell. If you have to sell for whatever, again, people have to sell. If you're one of those people, you need to make sure that you're doing the right thing to get it done ASAP. You've got to make your property attractive to buyers, the few that are out there. And even the few that are out there, they're starting to get shaved off as well because the loans are becoming harder to attain. For example, Wells Fargo is out of the mortgage business basically, except for their existing customers and minorities, but I guess whatever that means. But basically they're signaling that they're out of the mortgage business. They probably weren't doing a ton of volume anyway, but we've all seen this in this business. Lots of different lenders going by the wayside. They're just not getting the business, and now they're starting to restrict some of that business where they don't even want to be involved. Right now, again, another smart move is to understand you can get a high level of service from everybody involved in the real estate transaction. You should be able to find a fantastic agent, somebody like me, or somebody you know that is awesome. You can interview agents if you're listing your property. And of course, get a high level of service. That's what you're looking for right now, because the title companies aren't overwhelmed. The lenders aren't overwhelmed. Home inspectors aren't overwhelmed, and you can get the very best on the case. So again, not just sellers, but buyers should know that too, that you can get a great service right now in this market. Beware that there are some obviously desperate people that are going to start coming out, desperate agents that aren't going to know what to do and how to create and collect more business. And they're going to feed you the world, especially on the listing side, and say, yes, I can get this done just so they can get a listing. And they might do a poor job for you. Beware of that. I think on the buyer side, you just want to make sure you have somebody that understands all the advantages that you can get right now and help you get those. Just as simple as not understanding that you can get sellers to pay your pay down your rate, help pay down your interest rate. If you're not being explained how that situation works, maybe you're missing out on a very, very important piece of the puzzle to why you would want to be a buyer in this market. I didn't really do this in any real order, but the number one foolish real estate mistake you can make right now is selling to an iBuyer. You might as well start calling them pawn shops, folks. Yes, they are still active. I still get the cards in the mail. I'm sure you do. I still get contacted by a lot of what they call themselves wholesalers now. They're looking for a smoking deal, and especially right now, and basically to take advantage of you. You can make more by putting your property on the market, including having to pay your realtors and the fees that might come there. These iBuyers have hidden fees many times. Again, the pawn shops, they don't go out of business. They don't go out of business just because the economy starts going south. Actually, they start upticking their business at that point because they're getting all their stuff. They're getting all your valuable things that you're bringing to them for a very, very cheap price. That's how they stay in business. That's what the iBuyers are doing. Consider them a pawn shop. Friends don't let friends use these things. This is tens of thousands of dollars that you'll be losing, as Biden might say.
Not a joke. That is not a joke. That is a natural fact. It's not a joke, and I'm not joking about this. Not a joke.
It's not a joke. One last thing. I haven't really said much about this, but it was a thought that I had. For sale by owner. If you get the idea to be a for sale by owner, I don't know what you're thinking. It's not going to work out well for you. I think that for sale by owner in a market like this is going to be a little bit ugly. You need the help, you need the guidance, and you need to make sure the deal is done right. The documentation alone should be done right. All the disclosures, things like that, need to be done right. I think the most important thing on all of it is that you're going to lose money. You just cannot get the marketing as a for sale by owner that you can when you hire a great agent. All right, everybody, that is what I have for you today. Coach Hau is signing off. I want you to remember one thing before I go. First, please subscribe to my channel. I should have said that at the beginning, but go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And remember, there is one thing I'm about, actually two things that I'm all about, and that's houses and you. So when you need an agent, I'm here for you. Whatever you need, questions, comments, love to hear them all. Everybody have a great day. I'll see you soon.